Minister, thank you so much. We are being bombarded with emails, tweets, Facebook messages from our viewers in every state and territory this morning. So can you take us through this morning what you understand is the state of schools staying open or being closed this week?
So schools remain open, Michael, and if parents want to send their kids to school, they should do so. One of the things which was very clear from the National Cabinet meeting last night is that we don't want our children to lose a year's education as a result of COVID-19 if we can avoid it. And all premiers and territory leaders and the Prime Minister were clear on that. We want our children to continue to get an education for as long as they possibly can during this COVID-19 outbreak, and that is backed by the medical experts. The medical panel, which has been set up, which has the Federal Chief Medical Officer on it and all the state and territory Chief Medical Officers, said schools should remain open.
OK, so, and you can understand people's confusion here. What medical advice is the Victorian government listening to? The Victorian government ordering schools shut from tomorrow?
No, what the Victorian government has said is that as of Wednesday, they will go on school holidays. Now, there is a panel which is made up of every state and territory chief medical officer. That panel determined and gave advice to the National Cabinet yesterday that schools should remain open. And the Federal Chief Medical Officer made that very clear last night after the National Cabinet met.
But again, Victoria is taking a different view to this.
Well, what Victoria have done has brought their school holidays forward. They were going to finish on Friday. They'll now be finishing on Wednesday. But children will be going to school in Victoria and then Victoria will move to an online day, a pupil-free online day, although we will hear from the Victorian Premier today about arrangements that will be put in place for those parents who have children who are working in the essential services area.
OK. Yeah, we're about to, sorry for the interruption, we're about to hear as well from the New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian, the Premier of this country's most populous state. So will she confirm schools in that state will stay open until the holidays?
Well, obviously that's a decision for the Premier of New South Wales, but what everyone agreed last night was that schools should remain open, and schools are open today. Now, some states will move to put their education online as we head towards the school holidays. Others will say to parents, if you keep your kids at home, then there will be material available for you to be able to continue your children's education. So states and territories are working through all this at the moment. But the Chief Medical Officer's advice and that of the medical panel, which includes all the Chief Medical Officers from the state and territories, is that it is safe to send your kids to school and that schools should remain open. And they need to remain open, especially for our essential services workers, for the vulnerable, and for our children. And can I just take this time to say to all teachers who are heading to school today, on behalf of the nation, an incredibly big thank you to you, because making sure that our children get an education through these times is so critically important, and you are playing a critical role for our nation as we deal with the coronavirus. And all state and territory governments, all the state and territory education ministers who I spoke to with yesterday, I've been speaking with them on a daily basis, all appreciate what our teachers are doing for our nation at this time.
And you're realistically telling students and teachers, as the Prime Minister did last night, that schools will reopen after the holidays, despite where this virus is going in Australia?
Well, what we have to do, Michael, is take the medical expert advice. If we don't do that, what do we do? Do we take the expert medical advice on Twitter, on Facebook, this opinion, that opinion? We can't be doing that. We've got to listen to the panel which has been brought together, which is taking in the best advice that we can get around the country from our scientists, from our universities, from our best medical professionals. That's what's informing government decision making, and that's what will continue to inform government decision making, that very best medical advice. If it changes, the government's made very clear, then we will change the position when it comes to schools. But at the moment, it hasn't changed.
But just final question on that front, the Chief Medical Officer, Brendan Murphy, says that he's not sure, he can't guarantee whether kids do not spread this virus. So isn't that the case? If you've got lots of kids together in classrooms, in the playground, you could have all these different Petri dishes in schools right around the country.
Well, what the Chief Medical Officer has been saying is that there still needs to be more work and more research done on that. But what they are saying, and they have looked at this and they are looking at this on a daily basis, is that it does seem that it's adults that spread the virus to children rather than the other way round. Now, they continue to monitor this. They continue to look at what's happening internationally so that they can make the best informed decisions on this, and they will continue to do that. But at this moment, the clear medical advice is it is safe to send your children to school.
OK, on that note, we'll leave it there. Appreciate your time this morning. Federal Education Minister
Pleasure,
Dan
Michael.
Tehan.